up on the Murfreesboro Square from 8 until noon on Saturdays, and at the same time, the one at the train depot in Smyrna. The Parkinson Support Group meets on the first and third Friday mornings at 10 at the St. Clair Street Senior Center. And remember the Grief Support Meeting Wednesday mornings at 10, also at the St. Clair Senior Center. That's at 325 St. Clair Street. Oh yes, the second annual Peach Cobbler Festival is Saturday, August 12th at the Lane Agri Park. For more Good Neighbor events, go to our website, WGNSradio.com. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
Hey neighbor, when you talk, others listen. If it's on Good Neighbor Talk, keep it here. WGNS, AM, FM, online. Rutherford Issues with Brian Barrett on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSradio.com.
Rutherford Issues is on News Radio, WGNS, and powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. Well, MTE has a charitable foundation called Sharing Change. It's funded by members who round up their electric bills to the nearest dollar each month as a donation and support hundreds of nonprofits. Find out more at sharingchange.org. Today, it's my pleasure to welcome into the studio Vicki Weatherford. Vicki is the Launch Point Coordinator with the United Way of Rutherford and Cannon counties. And first of all, Vicki, good morning.
Good morning.
Good
Thanks
to have
for
you.
having me.
Absolutely. Pull that mic just a little bit closer to you there. Launch Point. Kind of tell us what Launch Point is. It sounds exciting.
Well, Launch Point was originally started back in 2019, and in coordination with State Farm and our VITA program, we were providing services to families in our VITA program to increase their income and also look at some financial stability. Just recently, we wrote a new grant to increase the size of Launch Point, and we received a grant from the Department of Human Services for $1.6 million to start services in the community with our community partners to help families who might be wanting to look at post-secondary options to increase their income, also look at budgeting and finance and financial stability.
So what is your core audience here? What folks are your core audience?
We're looking for families. In order to meet eligibility of the grant, they do have to be a family. They do have to have children under the age of 18. And we're looking for families who might work at some of our community partners. Some of our community partners are Yates, Nissan, Molly Filters, Intermetro. We've also started to partner with some churches in the community as well, so that if there are members that they serve who are looking to increase their income post-secondary, they do have to have employment, some type of employment, so that we can try to help them increase their income and become a little bit more financially stable. Possibly if anyone is looking into buying a home and increasing their credit score and just increasing their emergency savings.
So financial stability is the key point here, isn't it?
Yeah. Financial stability is one of our bold goals of 2030, and it is our goal that 75% of households are above the ALICE threshold. And so that is what this grant is helping to try to achieve. And ALICE stands for Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed.
You took it right out. I wrote down ALICE. What is that? So.
Right. That is a population who are employed, but they do not make enough to meet the day-to-day basic needs or their monthly budget.
Joining us today is Vicki Weatherford, Launch Point Coordinator, and this is part of, it's a United Way initiative?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, these are services that we provide at United Way and their direct services that we provide.
How long have we had Launch Point? It's fairly new, isn't it?
Yes, we just received the grant this January 1 we started.
And is this a year-to-year grant? Is this, a longer-term initiative? Because it does take some time to get the footing, I guess.
Yes. So we started January 1, and this is actually a 2-year grant. We hope to be able to meet our outcomes and meet our goals and be able to increase and possibly renew this grant after 2 years.
Now, you mentioned community partners. How did you go about securing those community partners? Because I see this as a big win for those folks because, always looking for quality employees.
Right. Well, some of our community partners have came to us and, with some of the issues that their employees were facing. And so that prompted us to partner with them on this program because HR representatives, they start to get overwhelmed and they don't know how to direct their employees to services. So we're actually going to be at these manufacturing facilities helping the employees, hopefully also retain their employees so that they also do not lose their employees.
That is such a big key. Retain the employees that have already been trained and they know the job and keeping that workplace as one where people want to come and stay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Also, we're trying to work with the HR departments within these employers to find out what kind of certifications that they might have within their manufacturing facilities to increase their income so that we can direct those employees to obtain those post-secondary educations or certifications so that they can retain them as an employee and also increase their income.
Vicki Weatherford with Launch Point, the Launch Point coordinator with United Way, joining us today. You were also mentioning that there are success coaches that are involved in this. Kind of walk us through what that's all about.
Yeah, so we have success coaches, and the success coaches are social workers who are trained with the community resources, and they will start with providing an intake with the family. The intake will have an assessment. They'll look at all of the needs, the overall needs that the family needs, and then direct them towards resources. And the success coach is there to guide them and to help them connect them to any kind of post-secondary that they may need. There's also some direct client assistance funds that the success coaches are able to help the family with any kind of childcare, transportation, housing issues, or anything that they might have while they're working to increase their income.
And those three things and others are really what we would think of as barriers. For instance, if someone doesn't have the proper transportation to get to a job at Yates, for instance, because they, live 15 miles away, then it's kind of hard for them to have a job at Yates. Right?
Yeah. We have some clients who are actually Ubering, and they spend more than half of their amount of their paycheck Ubering to and from work every day. So we're trying to help them and connect them with the resources, but also give them that financial coaching to hopefully increase their credit score so that they can get some form of transportation that's reasonable.
And I would think that there are United Way programs too that will be there to kind of help. VITA comes to mind, for instance. When it's income tax time, instead of going someplace that's going to give you your money right then, but they're going to take half of it,
Right.
And that keeps more money in their pocket too.
Right. Also, we Launch Point success coaches will also be within the VITA program. And they will be interacting with all of the clients at the VITA sites to see what who is interested in increasing their income and what do they want to do to try to obtain post-secondary, increasing their income, and possibly their savings as well.
You mentioned partnerships, and I'm not 100% sure if this is a partnership, but it kind of makes the point to maybe you can expand on this a bit. But I know Cliff Sharp with Greenhouse Ministries is on quite a bit, and they talk about budgeting classes and things like that. So are you using some of the community partners to help with things like, budgeting and financial services and building credit and all that kind of thing?
Yeah, we are also have a subcontract with through this grant with Dominion Financial. Regina Harvey and Dominion Financial will be providing our financial coaching services. They have set sessions that they pinpoint budgeting plans with the clients. They also look at spending plans and daily and weekly spending plans to just kind of see where they can help them save money.
And I'm sure that there are opportunities for continued learning, or if someone has a desire to, and has some skills to be a mechanic, but could use some certifications for that and things like that. Are there possibilities for that?
So that's what our success coaches work with. Also the American Job Center to look at different kinds of training programs. We also have some partnerships with TCAT and Workforce Essentials that we can help them and assist them financially to obtain that certifications that they need in order to hopefully increase their income and become certified in whatever field it is that they would like to go to.
Vicki Weatherford joining us, Launch Point Coordinator. This is an initiative of the United Way of Rutherford and Cannon counties. You mentioned bold goals, and I meant to go back when it was first mentioned and say, get us a definition for that. So kind of talk about what the United Way's bold goals are.
Our bold goals were established as a community, and they are goals that we are hoping to reach by 2030 in our community through initiatives such as Launch Point. And through this Launch Point initiative, we're hoping to help the financial stability bold goal of 75% of households in Rutherford County are above the ALICE threshold.
And 2030, you think, man, that sounds like a long way away, but it's really not. And this was kind of like a 10-year plan, and we're already 3 years into it, right?
Right. Yes. They started developing this, I believe, right before COVID in 2019, and they started having community meetings and seeing exactly what we needed in Rutherford County and goals that we needed to reach.
And we have seen so much change within the labor market and how people look at employment and how employment looks at employees and whether they have to be in office or home. And who would have ever thought that we would have had such change in just a short amount of time, but it's here, and I'm sure you can help folks navigate that too.
Yeah, we've really been looking at just different options to help either increase anyone's income. For example, we have a family right now who she is looking to obtain her CNA license and become a certified CNA. But she also has a lot of credits at MTSU that she also wants to go back to MTSU to obtain her degree. So right now we just kind of focus on some short-term goals and see what we can help them accomplish for the short term, and then also just look at a long-term goal as well.
One thing that things pop into my mind, so we're going to go back and look at some of the barriers, and I could just remember conversations that have been on this radio station about how hard it is to find housing and rent and things of that nature. That has to be one of the big obstacles as well, because that takes a lot of income.
Yeah, well, a lot of times families will get stuck in just not knowing what to do and living in the day-to-day, and really just kind of stuck where they are and not trying to increase their income. And housing is one of those barriers that it's difficult for a lot of them to obtain housing because possibly their income is not high enough, or they're not making 3 times the amount of the rent, and they are not able to obtain housing.
So that's where our coaches come in to help,
Yes.
right? Yeah. Sounds like a wonderful program, and we've thrown a lot of information out there. Is there one good place that we could go, maybe online, to find more information about LaunchPoint?
Sure. They can go to our website at yourlocaluw.org/launchpoint.
Okay, very good. LAUNCHPOINT. So yourlocaluw.org/launchpoint. And again, this is a United Way initiative, and thanks to the grant, that's going to help this program continue and succeed. And gosh, we wish you much success with everything. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Vicki Weatherford joining us here today. And again, if you came in a little late on our program, be sure to check the podcast at WGNSradio.com. You can listen back anytime that you desire. Well, that's going to do it here for our program today. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail, the ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiny